Hey, buddy, welcome to the Bold Inventor Show. I'm your host, JD Hoovener, with my trusty co-host, Matt Colseth. Oh, there it was again. I pointed the wrong way. Matt, good day to you.
Good day, sir. How's it going?
Going pretty good, man. Going good. Into fall, a little crispness in the air.
Yeah, I got the vest on. I got the attire for the fall.
You're back from your week off, and you're doing good. You have some good time off?
Just so busy. I had a great time. We're out in Montana chasing some elk. I mean, we didn't get one down, but we hiked around a lot, up and down the mountain all day for 8 days, and had a lot of fun with some friends. Met some new friends, and now I'm back in the office, trying to catch up on email.
Yeah. Well, thanks for carving time out for.
No, of course, this is great. I'm looking forward to
me and for our audience here. Absolutely. But for those who may be watching after the fact, Matt and I are attorneys. We're here at Bold Patents Law Firm. He focuses on trademark law, protecting brands, and I help inventors with inventions. In fact, we have one of our attorneys, a rare sighting, Chris Maley. And Chris, I'm going to bring you on. Chris Maley, one of our patent attorneys here at Bold. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Glad to be here.
Chris?
Hey. Hey. Cool. Well, we got one of your clients on. We're going to be bringing Brian Poetter on. I just chatted with him before he went live. So,
nice.
We got him waiting backstage. So I'm going to put your title here, patent attorney. This is quite the honor. I appreciate you coming on. I mean, I kind of just fake it, right? I'm like a fake doctor on TV. I mean, Chris, you're in there actually swinging, doing the work day in, day out with inventors. I mean, look, this is going to be awesome. You're going to help me answer some of these questions that have come in over the week. And hopefully, if you're willing to, help me answer.
Yeah,
right on. So let's do that for 5-10 minutes. And we've got one live viewer. I can see if anybody out there has any questions. Please keep things hypothetical, no confidential disclosures. We don't want you to make this your public disclosure of your invention. But if you have something confidential you want to get taken care of, book a free discovery call with us on our website. So let me get these questions pulled up. Chris, how's your week starting out?
Great. Just working on my fantasy team.
Oh,
okay. Forward to the weekend.
Fantastic.
Probably go watch one battle after another tomorrow. Looks like it's a pretty good movie. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Might win the Oscar. We'll see. Between that or Hamnet, about William Shakespeare's child.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of either one of those. Matt, are you a movie buff?
No, I haven't. Haven't heard of those yet.
Okay. Well, Chris has got his finger on the pulse of that. What's the name of that one again you're going to tomorrow?
One battle after another. It's from Paul Thomas Anderson. He does he did everything from Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, Magnolia.
Okay, so some really
pretty accomplished director. So
cool. That'd be great.
That's pretty good. Yeah, he's like a former.
I might have seen the preview for it on the plane the other day.
They got everything on planes. They're advertising. When you got to after the safety video.
Okay, we're going to start with a hardball question here. Again, these have not been pre-screened. This one came from our Reddit forum. Mia pulled this out. So here's a question from someone out there. Love to get Chris involved if you want to jump in. Has anyone gone through the process of petitioning for a retroactive foreign filing license at the USPTO? Please share the general circumstance and whether you succeeded or failed. And if you have case studies or a resource for petitions like that. So lay this out. Why would someone want to be getting a foreign filing license? And can you even do that retroactively?
That's a good question. I mean, what is it?
Yeah.
I have to get more details because what's the foreign license? Do they have the patent? Does somebody else have the patent?
Yeah.
Are they licensing a patent from someone?
My mind goes to, hey, this is someone who maybe forgot to file a PCT and maybe is now trying to go back and say, whoops, or is trying to, be able to file overseas. They filed in the U.S. and they want to file in another jurisdiction.
I know most of them have the 12-month limit, where after 12 months, you pretty much be out of luck, and then you'd have to either add something new or come up with something else. Some countries do have exceptions like Canada for unintentional delay. So it's pretty country to country basis.
Got it. Good answer. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar. Do you actually get a foreign filing license? Is that a thing? That
No,
U.S.
I never heard of it. That's why I was confused. I mean, you get a foreign priority date from filing with the PCT, and then you would have to enter each individual country through their patent office. It just holds your date so that you can file 30 months after the original priority date.
Yep.
But if you don't file, like let's say you filed a patent in the United States, you would have 12 months to file the PCT to lock in that date, or you would have missed your shot.
Yep. It's just a 12-month window. Yeah, that's what I'm familiar with as well. Okay, cool. Well, I would have, that was a good answer. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. Canada, I think extra 12 months for unintentional delay.
Okay.
Well, you might want to get on that, because then you have to say, hey, why is the entire time delayed?
All right, we got a question here. This is on the trademark side. Over to you, Matt. Hypothetical names below. I have a few products named Crazy Pop Light, Crazy Pop Bold. I love the name. Crazy Pop Fresh, Crazy Pop Extreme. So I don't want someone to create a product called Crazy Pop with anything after it. Can I trademark the generic Crazy Pop? And if I'm adding works after it in my product names, I want to own that generic. So is that a good plan? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate plan. I mean, if you go back and look at the list that they provided, Crazy Pop is obviously the most distinctive part of each of these brands. And by distinctive, I mean like registrable, right? Conceptually registrable. So not that he or she can necessarily register these without, a little bit more research, but yeah, Crazy Pop is the brand. Light, for example, is descriptive of probably the product or how it functions. Crazy Pop Bold is, I don't know what that is, it's maybe suggestive of something about the product, but yeah, I think for this individual, Crazy Pop, the registration itself would make sense. And then if they have like descriptors or different versions of it or different use cases, they can just add those as, filler essentially. But yeah, Crazy Pop seems like the brand that would be worth protecting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what if it's a soda, a soda drink, even if it was maybe still, would that stop someone coming up with, Crazy Pop Wild,
Yeah.
So Crazy Pop, that would be
good question, right? Yeah. It would prevent someone from using Crazy Pop Wild, right? Because it's derivative of the brand. And so from the government's perspective and from an attorney's perspective, yeah, there's a possibility that there could be some likelihood of confusion if you were to go to market with Crazy Pop Wild. Folks might assume that came from the makers of Crazy Pop. So yeah, I think, that's kind of where one trademark can kind of stand in for many trademark applications. And probably like the most classic example of this that I get from a client perspective is like, hey, I have 6 different logos, different variations of the logo. Do I need to file each of them? And the answer is yes, if you want to enforce each of them individually, but no, in the sense that one is probably going to have enough design elements to, protect all iterations of that logo that you conceivably use. So
perfect.
Yeah, good enough. One application.
Let's do it. This one came in from, it looks like this was another Reddit one. This is about search results, patent search results. So back over to Chris and I. Before I get to that, anyone out there that's watching after the fact, please click this link. There's your special weekly live discovery call link. Click that and you get a free, I don't have one right in front of me, but a free bold mug. I'll send you out in the mail if you book a discovery call from our show link. Click on that and share a cup of your hot beverage of choice. Here we go. This question is, like I said, about patent search results. And interesting question. I hadn't heard of this before, but visualizing patent results. I'll click this, read it off. So as the title mentions, I'm looking for a free or cheap tool that can plot or visualize search results from free search engines like Google, eSpaceNet, maybe WIPO, or some of the chat AI bots. They're looking for tracking CPC codes versus filing dates, trends, visualizing grouped of patents, specific keywords and tags. I know we use a third-party searcher at Bold, but Chris, you've done maybe some patent searching. Any thoughts on this?
So they want a map layout or like claim charting of how it looks. I know. I mean, people advertise to us every day. They're like, "Hey, look at my new search program that does this and this," and outlines it like that. I know AI, they do a pretty good job, but then you always have to watch out for the gray area. If that's like a public disclosure of your invention, and that's going to count against you, where if you don't file a patent within 12 months, does that count as a public disclosure? And if it's past 12 months, then it enters the public domain and you wouldn't be able to file a patent on it.
Nice.
I mean, Google's pretty easy. I would just go to Google, find the classification area, find the results, and then they link every patent that's also has a relation to it during the examination, where the examiner used that reference or that reference was used against the patent you're looking at. And so you can kind of go through multiple applications pretty quick.
Yeah. I love that answer. Yeah, I think, with today's technology, and like it's just a simple Google search, which will likely compile a lot of the free search engines, you can do kind of what's called a knockout on your own, do some initial diligence before you, for example, hire an attorney. I think it's something that you should do. It's wise, and they are free. We as attorneys, we want to make sure before we give our opinion on anything that it's a thorough search, not just on patents, but for non-patent literature as well. And that's what you get with a full patent search with legal opinion at Bold. But Matt, on the trademark search side, would you comment on how that might differ?
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, like looking at the question, it seemed like they were almost like from an analysis standpoint, they were interested in kind of where things were trending from a technology standpoint at the USPTO. And we don't have something good like that on the trademark side either. Now, like all of these companies that we pay for search results and to, help us with our trademark search file wrappers that we give to the client, they all have that data. And so I have no doubt that if you spend enough time querying the system, you could probably get some data points. But as far as I know, like that type of reporting comes out generally like once a year from the USPTO on the trademark side. Kind of gives a breakdown of how many trademarks filed in each class, most popular names that were searched or applied for, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of really good tools, especially with AI popping up. In the end, I think it's still true. If you're a human being, an inventor, and you want to know, okay, I have all this data. What do I do? What decision do I make? And if you're gonna, rely on just your own research, you can feel a little bit uncomfortable. So hiring a professional, getting an opinion from an attorney is going to be the best way to kind of put yourself at ease and have the best decision possible going forward. So whether it's on the trademark or patent side, Bold Patents is here to help you with that. So with that, I'll welcome any live questions that come in throughout the broadcast, but we're going to go to our guest, Brian, who's been waiting backstage. Brian Poetter, welcome to the Bold Inventor Show.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Yo. Hey, good. Great to have
you.
Brian. That's good. Chris, I just have to say, I got a lot more culture just listening to your movie recommendations. And my wife is so sick and tired of watching Adam Sandler movies or things that go boom in the night that we can get a little bit better, higher quality movie in our movie night now. So appreciate that.
Oh, hey, no problem. Glad to help. I got a bunch of them. I think I watched like 40 this year.
Nice.
Fantastic. Wow. So Brian, so take us back, my friends. You're an inventor, owner of Fan Bags Cornhole. Why don't you give us a little history here on Fan Bags Cornhole? How did you get started with this? I mean, I think we're all familiar with this sport of cornhole, both recreation and competitive, perhaps. Walk us through how you got started on this business.
Oh, wow. So I got introduced to cornhole when I was in college. So I was at Ball State University, and they were playing this game in tailgate. And good thing about Ball State, at least at the time that I was there, is nobody went into the football games, right? They all just stayed out and hung out in the tailgate lot. And so they were throwing these bean bags at this board with a hole on it. And one of my fraternity brothers brought this set out, and it was hand painted, but I mean, it was just completely beat up. And the bags weren't going anywhere. They were just kind of sitting there, and the wood was a little bit garbage. And I just happened to say, hey, why don't you just get some new boards, or at least change out the top on it? And he goes, well, I have to buy a whole brand new set, and I really don't know how to do it. I don't have the tools for it. And so I kind of put that in my memory banks, and it's like, well, maybe we could find a way to make that happen. So after I left Ball State, and my wife and I actually bought our first house when we were dating, just a little place. And I told her, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm going to give you some time at night, and I'm going to go to the garage, and I have this idea, and I just want to see if I can make it work. And so I went on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought a saw, I bought a drill, and I bought some 2x4s and some plywood. And I came up with this idea to slide the playing surface out of a cornhole board so you could change designs. You could slide a brand new playing surface in. And it was just kind of a proof of concept. And we just started telling people about it. And this was before kids. We would go to breweries and wineries and distilleries, and would just strike up a conversation, whether it be with the owner or the waiter or waitress, and say, hey, we have this idea of what we want to do. So it's something you guys could possibly benefit from. And just by telling people, oh yeah, it started to go. So before we even had really a concept there, I had people giving me money to make them cornhole boards with their designs on it. And these breweries and wineries, when they came out with a new beer, they would take the old beer out, they'd put the new one in. Same thing with the wines. And they would take the old ones and hang them on the wall. And so we really started to gain some traction with that. But yeah, it started we started doing this in 2012. Okay. And it's been going ever since. So it started in my garage, and from there we kind of grew everything. I think I was able to get everything going for the span of $350 with tools and wood and everything else right off the bat. So yeah, it's been good to us.
Love it. So the heart of this product is the replaceability of the playing surface of cornhole, right? That top,
yeah,
that shows. And so keeping that structure at the bottom intact, and maybe willing to kind of, you know, up the quality of those materials of that base structure, right? And so then you have a replaceable board. Tell us about kind of the iteration of the product. You know, I imagine your first prototype isn't the same one that's selling today.
No, the game of cornhole, and as weird as it is, and unless you're kind of in the cornhole community, I mean, it's changed a lot. And I still have the first set that I made, and it's always kind of it's a constant reminder of me of just how you need to keep learning and you need to keep progressing with not only the competition that's out there, but with the tools that you have at your disposal. But yeah, we had 2x4s that held the frame together. And then we had a plywood. It was a really thin plywood that ended up being the playing surface. And looking back at it, it's the worst design ever because it's an inconsistent playing surface. And we were using vinyl at the time, vinyl stickers. And by today's standards, you'd be kind of laughed at for using it. But at the time, it was kind of revolutionary, even with the vinyl stickers that were on it. And so from there, we kind of learned we had to upgrade our material a little bit just to get to some more of the more serious player. And we did. We went to it was called a rubber wood material, and the rubber wood was functionally strong, but it cut down on the weight. The first boards, I think they weighed about 100 pounds each, so shipping was absolutely out of the question. Right. We were trying to get some drop shippers at the time, and the cost for shipping was just absolutely insane. But the rubber wood brought the weight down to below 60 pounds. So all of our shippers didn't surcharge us for it. But then we had started using MDF, which is another material for the top. And at the time, it was great because it was treated on the top. So anything that got spilled on the top was great. But anything that came up from the underside, for those of you that know MDF, it soaks up water like a sieve, and then it bubbles, and then it's not great. So we took all of that from all the feedback from our customers, and we pivoted now to where we are. We're on the fourth iteration where we came out with our tournament edition boards, but it's all Baltic birch plywood, and it's not the thin stuff. It's the 3/4 inch where you can drive a car on it if you wanted to. but it withstands the elements. It's not waterproof. It's water resistant, but it's a very professional finish. And with the new iteration of the interchangeable boards, instead of using the actual frame itself to hold the playing surface in, where you had an inconsistency around the sides when a bag hit it, it's now you can't differentiate it from a tournament board, which is just a regular 2 foot by 4 foot board on the top, and the actual sliding mechanism and latching mechanism is underneath and attached to the frame, so that there's no inconsistency with the playing surface. And with the invention of 3D printing, all of our kits now are 3D printed using a very heat resistant, water resistant polymer that we print on it. So it can withstand anything that the elements want to throw at it. And we sell them now as either kits that can go on your current set of boards, whether you bought them from us or from one of our competitors, or you can attach them to our boards now. So we're kind of going across to other companies and allowing their customers to have an interchangeable top as well.
That's fantastic. Okay, if I show off your website a little bit and
sure,
walk us through kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah. So at the very top, when we launched the brand new interchangeable features, I was lucky enough to have a contact over at Soldier Field who gave us the mezzanine for about 2 hours while we shot some content. But what you're seeing is just showing off that we started off with a fan bags design on the board. And right in front of Soldier Field, we were able to swap out the top. It's literally, you just pull it out. It slides out of the mechanism that's attached to the frames. It slides right back in. The only step that was missing is there's 2 bolts at the top that lock everything together when you're playing. So we didn't do that. But it's a very easy, very simple process, and you can see just about how quickly that it goes. But those green pieces that you see attached to the frame, those are the interchangeable mechanism. And there's a couple latches that are attached to the very bottom of the playing surface, but you can swap it out fairly quickly. In fact, right after that, we went to Revolution Brewing in Chicago, and I was racing people, seeing if they could chug a beer faster than we could change out the top on a cornhole board. So you can imagine that was a lot of fun to do. Yeah. And we were filming all of it. We had a couple really, really awesome people that indulged in my insanity here a little bit, but it's quick. And the best part is it works for anybody. So, but yeah, on the website, you can find everything that we do, from bags to score towers to different kinds of cornhole boards for every budget. We try to make sure that anybody who wants to get into the game has a really nice set of boards or bags at a very affordable price. So we have pro bags, we have everyday bags. We've got boards of every kind of shape and size, but we try to make sure that there's something there that, mom and dad can get, or someone who's just getting into the game.
That's awesome. I mean, in terms of sales today, what would you say percentage-wise, direct to consumer versus more B2B?
So right now it's going to be a little bit more direct to consumer. We've got 3 companies right now that have licensed the new interchangeable set for us, and you guys have absolutely helped me with that. So in the past, the people that I had 2 companies that we licensed it with, they made up for a majority of the sales. But right now, we're seeing a lot more people that are going directly to us, and they're either utilizing the current boards that they've already purchased from us, or they're utilizing some of our competitors' boards to buy some of these kits. But the kits have been live for 24 days now. We went live September 1st of this year with the brand.
Okay, cool. Love that. So this is brand new. Okay, I want to get to the licensing stuff for sure.
Sure.
Take us back again. So 2012 start. When did you start thinking about, gosh, maybe I should get a patent on this? And tell me about how that started.
It started with Shark Tank. Okay. No joke. Just watching Mr. Wonderful talk about how you need to get a patent, people are going to take your idea. And so we had been selling for about 4 months. And I was trying to keep my startup costs very, very low. My wife and I didn't have a bunch of money at the time. And so I decided to do my patent kind of went through one of those do-it-yourself sites that's out there. So we're not going to name the site. I mean, I don't want to trash anybody's site right now.
Sure.
But JD, I'm just going to tell you, I butchered the crap out of it, and it was a nightmare. So we did a provisional first just to make sure it was a proof of concept.
Yeah.
And as we moved from that provisional into a full-time patent, man, there were so many things that I needed to work on, that I was getting a bunch of feedback from the patent office. And that's when I reached out to you guys, because I couldn't do it. And you guys were gracious enough to step in and literally took everything that I wanted to put on there as a non-licensed attorney, right, professional, and you guys made it absolutely happen. You fixed all the problems that I had on that first patent that I have. And I should have gone that route. I shouldn't have skimped on the cheap stuff or the do-it-yourself stuff. I should have just let a professional do it. But yeah, then we got that iteration done, and you guys completed and submitted the patent for this brand new design here as well. But yeah, for anybody out there listening, don't try to do it yourself unless you're an attorney. It was an absolute nightmare, and the money I thought I saved, probably spent that 2 times over trying to fix everything myself, and eventually going to an attorney right now.
Thank you for sharing that with our audience. And that, if anybody has questions on what office actions are, we could get to that. But I want to give some praise to this guy here, Chris Maley, who is the one that helped you out, right? Yeah. Save this patent application.
And hey, Brian, just to jump in here really quick. So trademark attorney guy will not file my own patents. Chris filed my patent for me. So
Chris was wonderful. I mean, our consultation call was incredible. I mean, just asking, what do I want to do? I had a whole bunch of rough concepts that I had, and he took some of the rough ideas and formulated everything, got it over to your drawing people. And I mean, he made it go. And again, I learned from the first one, and I'm like, I'm not even going to attempt to do any of this. And Chris was absolutely incredible. What?
I said, you had a good foundation. We just had to fix some things. Yeah.
You're being very polite right now.
Let's show it off. Let's show off this patent here. I mean, for some of those patent nerds out there, I know they're out there. I know I am one. So here, this is one of them. Maybe there's a few interchangeable game boards.
Yep.
This was issued in 2021, the heart of COVID. Unfortunately, I want to ask about that too.
Sure.
So filed in 2019, and there it is. There's Chris named. There's the named part of Bold IP. This was filed way back as part of that provisional you're talking about in 2016. Is that the one?
I believe so.
Yeah, early days. So you can claim the benefit of an early priority date. So this thing got issued finally in 2021, but it really got its start in 2016. So it can take quite a while to get it all the way issued. And here's these nice drawings you're talking about with the environment.
Yeah, if you go up to that top drawing, I'll show you kind of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So you can see how the frame itself holds in the playing surface. So you had like a little divot there between the frame and the playing surface that would impact some of the throws, or at least it would give the illusion that it would happen. So with the new stuff, there's no frame that is playable. Like a cornhole bag will not hit the frame or any of the sliding mechanism. It's all underneath the board now.
Oh, it's all hidden. That's cool.
All hidden. Yep.
Really cool. All right. And so the, and obviously you got your patents here, the claims are here at the bottom, with these elements here. And I always ask this for those that have gone through this process. Have you seen any infringers, any knockoffs to date?
We have, and we had a couple that did some kind of iteration to this, and all it really took was just a strongly worded letter saying, "Hey, I see this. It's patented," and one of them just completely stopped doing it. And to my knowledge, they're not doing anything else anymore. And we had another guy who was a little bit more bold about it and was trying to go around the patent. And, we found out that they were doing this, and it prompted us to alert them and let them know that this has been patented, it's in the works, and that we have no problem stepping forward. But I'm just being polite and letting you know that I know about you.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything else quite yet. But I've had a lot of people that have reached out saying, "Hey, I want to license this, and I want to do this. Well, what does it cost?" And so the idea is there, and there's a lot of people who really have gravitated towards the idea, and they're coming to find that being able to change designs, whether you're a fan of multiple teams or you've got businesses that you're trying to market, there's absolutely a market for that. It's just some people, the cost to license it is not within their wheelhouse.
Yep. Let's jump to that now. You're talking about licensing, and I think that term I think is misunderstood. I'd love to get your take. How did that? You said some people actually reached out to you with opportunities. How did you weigh that, and then how did you get into working with another company to sell your product?
So I've got 2 and soon to be 3 companies that are licensing the interchangeable cornhole boards. So the first 2 started with the previous design. So where the frame and the playing surface were all in one. And those 2 companies were interested in the beginning, but when COVID hit, we really got socked with COVID.
Yeah.
And we were doing well. I had a almost 6,000 square foot facility where we had CNC machines, and we had a couple UV printers. If you're not familiar with a UV printer, it's literally a printer the size of your living room. You can put doors and flooring, and it prints directly on it. I mean, we still have it. It's what prints directly into the wood right now. So there's no wear and tear on the boards. But we had a couple of those. And when COVID hit, our shop, and we were located in Indiana, we didn't have any place for 6 foot of social distancing. We had a very small storefront up front that they were very adamant that we had to close down just because it was small and you couldn't have somebody in there selling or taking payment and allow for 6 feet of social distancing there. So we ended up I had to lay off a lot of people just because we couldn't have a lot of people that were back there. And it really took a hit for us. So at that point, I started looking for additional ways to get my product, or at least get the idea out there. And I reached back out to these two companies that were interested in it. And one of them owns a rental company where they rent out tents and they rent out stuff for huge corporate events. And they love the cornhole boards because when a company would come in, they would do trade shows. They would put the company's logo in the cornhole boards, and then they would rent them out. So I ended up licensing it to them so that they could manufacture it. And first year, I just did it for a flat fee. I didn't really have a way of checking some of their sales and assigning a royalty to it. And once
it's a bit more of a casual deal, almost like a handshake kind of deal.
Yeah, it was very much a handshake deal. So I provided them with the know-how and some of the CNC machine files that they were able to use, as they had their own machines and they had their own printers out there. They utilized us to print the tops while they assembled the frames. But for the most part, it really was a handshake deal. On the first of the year, they would cut a check, and for the rest of the year, they were able to replicate and utilize the patent as they saw fit. And as we got going, I was able to lessen the fee and take on more of a royalty portion with them as we were kind of able to sync up some of our computer systems and grow from there. So as COVID was going on, unfortunately, we had to shut the shop down. And so I ended up moving the shop out to Toledo, Ohio. And we were able to kind of get back up again after COVID. And so I still had those 2 companies that were marketing and producing the interchangeable frames.
They were under their own title. You were basically white labeling your product. Is that right? They had their own logo and their own branding on it.
Yep. Essentially, they were just buying permission for me to replicate the patent that I had.
Yeah.
So it was not labeled as a Fan Bags product. It was labeled as their own. Obviously, they couldn't get it anywhere else. Or people, if they already had the boards, they could have ordered tops from us if they decided to do that. But they just it was their own product. And so
Awesome.
we've carried that forward. I don't want, my mentality is always, I don't want people seeing a Fan Bags product and then ultimately coming directly or thinking they can come directly to me, especially when somebody's entrusted me. They've given me a check and it's part of their business. So I try not to have people come back to me that another company's worked so hard to reach it to get that client.
Yeah.
And we've been very, very bold about that and making sure that people understand. Even when someone orders a set of tops on our site, it's like, hey, where did you hear from us? And if they say other and they put one of those manufacturers down, we give them all the credit for that and send them the money for it.
That's
So
fantastic.
I try to do what's right by people. This is something that's supposed to be fun. I know people make their livelihood from a simple game of cornhole, right? Like who would have thought that was even a possibility?
Right.
And I feel that by doing the right thing for people, it'll pay dividends for you in the future.
I know how hard it is for a lot of our clients that have got patents granted that are looking to get licensing deals. You had two. Were you able to kind of leverage that point? Hey, negotiate a little bit. Hey, I'm getting a good deal here, and kind of drive up maybe your overall value. Having two.
Yeah. I think right now I really haven't taken that approach. When we were initially talking to the first two companies, I clued them in. I said, here's what my overhead is. Here's what my profit margins are. Here's how you can structure your product, and here are the materials that you can use. And that it really helped them paint a picture of just how profitable it could be for them. I'd be lying if I said that the most profit you make is in a cornhole top. I mean, it's basically a 3/4 inch piece of wood that's cut with a hole in it, and the printing on there, is relatively inexpensive. But when you look at that versus the labor cost of assembling a frame and the time cost of assembling a frame and putting them all together and shipping them out, I mean, it's so much easier just to have your machine cut out these tops, print on them, and then boom, they're out the door.
Yeah.
That in itself, it proves to be more valuable to people than kind of just upcharging it. But just reverse engineering it for them and showing them where the profits are and how they can make it and the different ideas and kind of where I was going. And this most recent company, that's exactly what we did. It's a father and son who was looking to get into the cornhole business. They'd never sold cornhole boards before, and I was able to work with them and make sure that the licensing wasn't really necessarily, a kick in the head, and that they had the ability to put money into marketing and put money into R&D and put money into things that they weren't completely handcuffed by me, because I want that long-term relationship with them. I just don't want to take your money for 1 year, have you fall flat on your face, and then, see you later, bye. I want to make sure that, as you get up and running, you can build your brand, and that ultimately, you're going to be with me for a long time. And that's kind of where we settled with this last one, and with you guys even helping me with the licensing agreement again on that one.
Perfect. Yeah, and as much as you can share it, I mean, I'd love to know more on this, but
sure.
Anything surprise you on the as executed agreement that was like, oh, that was a surprise. I didn't expect this term or this concept, to even be negotiated. Any big wows or ahas coming out of that?
A couple. So, and talking with you guys, and just whether we wanted to make sure that the Fan Bags name was attached to the patent as it goes out from some of these distributors, and we decided against it. Just some of the things that we had to be aware of if we wanted to use the name, right? And some of the stuff that we had to put in writing where, if another company uses my name and they do something crazy on social media or they do something crazy in the world, just how that could possibly impact me. That was very eye-opening. And
so you did license the ability for the third parties to use your name, Fan Bags Cornhole.
We ended up not doing that.
Okay.
So they could not use our name. They could not use our, image or likeness. So it's mostly a preservation thing. I am very guarded about the brand. I mean, this is something I built in my garage.
Yeah.
So if anything's going to happen to it, I want it to be my fault, not something that was completely out of my control.
Got it. So cool. I mean, nothing to say that the quality is any lesser of those products. that
No.
your unbranded stuff. It's just you want to have full control over how it's being portrayed. If they put kind of a like you said, an ad or some marketing that you wouldn't agree with, that you wouldn't want to have to be in that position.
Makes a lot of sense. I try to avoid those unforced errors.
Sure. And you're dealing with the public, and I think we can say this, and the world's extremely divided at the moment, and when you factor in social media and people's opinions that are out there, some people are going to agree and some people are not, and I can't control, and nor do I ask or care where people's views lie. I just don't want that to come back as something that falls back on me, as something that could impact my business. So that's why we really just wanted to keep the Fan Bags name out of some of these licensees as they go about, and they're able to sell the product, sell the kits, and build a brand around themselves utilizing my technology.
Right on. And I try to keep up with some patent news, here and there, and some of these huge, multi-billion-dollar deals that happen right in software, tech, or pharma, where these IP deals, there's a lot of diligence. I'm curious, did this party or one of the parties you did the deal with, in your case, did they research or sniff around on the patent? That was, the diligence, the prosecution history. Did they hire their own attorneys, to do diligence on your IP?
So the first two did not. So again, it was something where we were small, and it was more of a handshake deal before allowing them to do it. For those two, I know I shared some of our revenue projections, and again, I was very upfront and forthcoming with profitability and what they could do. Our most recent one, they did a patent search to make sure because they had the idea, and then when they did the patent search, that's how they reached out to me to see what the possibility was.
Oh, that's how they found you. By
Mm-hmm.
them doing a patent search. Okay, almost like a freedom to operate. They had done one. Okay, and they found your stuff. Cool.
And they found me. Mm-hmm.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Good. So they were serious about it, and that's good.
Very serious, and this third company, they're bringing a whole new dynamic to what we were doing. I mean, they're taking the patent and they're running with it right now and into all sorts of different things that we never even thought of. So again, we support them as much as we can, and I've helped them. Hey, think about this. Here's what a printer costs. Here's what the ink cost is, and here's what your time cost is, and really helping them along get into the cornhole business here. But their plans and what they want to do with it is going to be very exciting to see where it goes and what they can perform with it.
Awesome. I know you can't share the name, obviously, but I imagine you're not going to just sit back and chill. You're still growing Fan Bags, right? And I'd love to hear kind of what your next year or two is looking like. What are the big things you want to do with your company as it moves forward?
So moving forward with us, we're all in on this interchangeable kit, this interchangeable set that we've got. Currently right now we offer just a regular tournament edition board. So that's a very high use board that, is very similar to the ones that you see on ESPN and on TV. And that's still one of our top sellers right now for people who are serious and to overly serious about cornhole.
And that's the Tournament Edition Pro, the PRO cornhole boards, this one here.
Yep, Tournament Edition Pros. So those ones, they've got double thick legs. They've got supports on the legs. They've got supports underneath, so when your bag hits it, there's no bounce to it. Everything is rounded. I mean, completely flat playing surface. There's a digital poly that's on the top of it that it's what if you use a regular poly from Home Depot, if you're playing in cold weather, the poly it's like going on ice. If you play in hot weather, it sticks because of the humidity. This digital poly that we came up with, it's awesome because it's consistent whether it's 100 degrees outside or negative 100 degrees outside. So that one's nice. But the Tournament Edition ones, we've got guys that run tournaments for a living. We've got guys that that actively practice, whether they want to get on a pro circuit with one of the 2 leagues that are out there that utilize those boards. I mean, they're incredible. They're high use. And what I mean by that is if your kids are climbing on it, it's not going to break. You know, if you accidentally run it over with the car, it's going to withstand the majority of it. But, you know, Matt, you laugh, but it happens a lot where people just have them sitting out in back of their car and forget that they're there, back up, and boop, there they go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got Backyard Pro, which is a kind of a step down from the tournament edition. So it's a more cost effective. It's not the frame isn't made out of Baltic birch. It's made out of a northern pine. The supports aren't there, but you know, for people who are more of a backyard casual player, it's a perfect set. And we've got PVC ones where you can leave them out all year round. It doesn't matter. It can get rain, snow, whatever you want. They're completely weatherproof. And then with the digital print and the poly on top, unless you take an axe to it, nothing's going to happen to it. But yeah, we've got small ones for tailgating for people who have limited space. We've got desktop ones right now. We've got cornhole bags, which we got into the kind of the pro bag market here over the last year or so. So, you know, for us, it's just going to be continuing to grow and get into as many households as we can, impact as many people as we can. And again, get everything to people at a price that is not, it's not price resistant. You know, some of my competitors will sell a set of 4 bags for $300. You know, our pro bags, which are very comparable, we sell a set of 4 bags for anywhere from $50 to $75. Wow. So you still get, you still get something. Yeah.
Right. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not your Walmart. It's not your Walmart set or your Walmart material here.
Yeah. Well, love it. People are looking for something custom and, you know, unique, memorable, right? You know, stand out. If you're talking about the tournaments and this type of thing, I don't follow it as much. I think before we went live, I know you've been interviewed, I think, on ESPN. I'd love to hear more about the sport. Is the sport making, call it headway, if you will? Is it going to become a collegiate sport ever? Is it making ways into the, you know, Olympics, dare I say, or something along those lines?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. But you know, there's two major leagues that are out there in the American Cornhole League and the American Cornhole Association.
Okay.
And both of them have done a great job of promoting this sport. And it's really gone from a tailgate, backyard, chug a beer with your friend kind of sport to really being a very competitive atmosphere where you're seeing more bars that are getting cornhole boards because people want to play. You're seeing people running tournaments, whether it be for a fundraiser or to win money. You're seeing a lot of that stuff right now. And I was fortunate enough where over the last couple of years, I've sponsored a lot of the professional guys that are on ESPN and getting to know them and getting to see that side of the business over there. And they're doing just a great job of continuing to grow it. I mean, now you've got celebrities, they're doing pro-am, like cornhole pro-ams on ESPN, where you have a cornhole pro playing with, Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore. Right. Yeah. So it's great to see where this business is going. It's great to see where this is going. And, you know, I've got 2 7-year-olds and they love watching TV where one of our pros is on TV and it's got the big Fan Bags logo on his jersey.
Nice. Okay. So you have sponsors. Well, you're sponsoring pros.
Yeah.
Okay,
oh yeah.
Tell me about that side of the business real quick. I mean, I know I'm the one asking. Matt, Chris, feel free to jump in, but I'm super curious. I mean, how does this side work and how much of your business is that?
So we started with the pros in 2018, okay. And so it was when it was still getting a little small. I think they were just getting into ESPN, and I had quite a few guys that were coming up to me and just, hey, I just need money to travel and go play cornhole. I have no wife, I have no kids, I've got no responsibilities. That's just what I want to do. And so again, handshake agreement was like, yeah, just wear my logo, don't say anything stupid on social media, and just give us a breakdown of how your tournament went to your followers and make sure you just tag us in it. And that went over really well for us. And we had people that, were buying stuff because they were following so-and-so and so-and-so was playing on them. Or, they would follow so-and-so to a tournament and our boards would be there. So it worked out really well for us. And as the game got bigger, and the competition for some of these elite pros that we were sponsoring got there. I mean, we got priced out of it pretty quickly. I mean, there were guys that were dumping 10, 20, 30, even $70,000 per season into some of these guys to play with their bags and use their boards and do social media content. And that's just not the route that we decided to go. So a lot of the guys, we still sponsored them. We still said, hey, we'll pay for your travel. We'll pay for this. And we'll work out something, whether my logo's on your jersey or not. I had one guy and I'll he won't mind me putting his name out there, but Stephen Bernasset, is still a very good friend of mine and still somebody that we sponsor to this day. But he had some rough stuff going on in his life, and I employed him and just said, hey, I need some help running the printer. I need some help running the CNC machines, and gave him a job when he really needed a job. And he came to me and just said, hey, I want to be a pro. I want to be a cornhole pro. And so every day we would shut the shop down at 9 o'clock at night, and we would move everything out of the way so he could practice. And he would be there from 9 o'clock until almost 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning so that he could practice. And he would bring people in there, and he would tell me, and I need to practice against this person. And I'll never forget, they had a kind of a qualifier on ESPN where, all these people that weren't pros, they could go and play, and depending on how they finished, they got a pro contract. And I was in Lake Tahoe at the time, and he's texting me. He's like, I'm nervous. And I would walk around to people, bartenders and people sitting at tables, and said, hey, my buddy's trying to become a cornhole pro. Can you shoot a video just saying, hey, Steven, let's go. Let's do this. And I got about 20 people to do that. And he played well enough that he got his pro contract. Nice. And fast forward, he made a ton of money. I mean, first year he was sponsored by me. Second year he was sponsored by me. After that, he had people just handing him money hand over fist to be a part of them. And I said, do it, man, because I can't afford to do that. Your allegiance to me is nothing. I want you to be in a better spot. And that's where he went. And he actually, I think it was 2 years ago, he turned into he was a singles champion. And for a period of time, he held the record of 27 bags in the hole in a row on national TV. I'm telling you, on national TV, 27 in a row. And I think that was just beat here recently, but for a long time he held that record. But this guy just made himself into what he wanted to be. And so I got so much respect for him for doing that, because that's a work ethic you really don't see anymore.
Yeah. And you saw that in him and gave him that huge opportunity. I'm sure he gives you big hugs whenever he sees you, kind of thing. Lots of thanks for you for helping him out, give him that start.
And that's what we're here for, right? Help your fellow man out, right?
Absolutely. Last couple minutes here. I want to anybody out there watching, listening, this is your time to ask a live question of Brian or any of us here on. Matt, Chris, you guys have anything on your mind you want to chat about? I got one.
No, Brian, I would just say, I commend you for your ethos in terms of how you work with both customers and your vendors, essentially, right? People that you are kind of competition, but you are also working with, right? I think that that kind of, moral business dealing, it'll go a long way for you, right?
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we need more of that. So thanks.
I agree with you. I've been very blessed. My mentor, who helped me with some of this stuff, he didn't receive a dime, and it's. I'm very blessed with what I have. I've worked very hard for what I've gotten, but if there's people that you can bring along with you, right? I think that's the true mark of a leader, right? Is not the one who can climb the ladder by himself. It's how many people can you push or drag up with you. And that's what we try to do. And Fan Bags, it's fun, man. You make cornhole. I get to go to the park and play cornhole with my son. We've got cornhole here in the basement, and both my kids just absolutely love the game, and they play with each other, and they have competitions. And my neighbors who've never really played the game, now they're all into it. And so we have an absolute blast with a game that's throwing a beanbag into a hole. Think about that, right?
Yes,
it's throwing a beanbag into a hole, and just the stuff that you can do and help impact people by doing that.
Love that. I've got this question. Well, two questions. One, are you comfortable if I share your email address with the public here? If they have any questions for you, maybe they've got something on their mind they'd love to pick your brain about, are you willing to share your personal email address?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right, go for it. Is it the Fan Bags Cornhole one? Brian at
Yep.
Fan Bags Cornhole?
Brian at fanbagscornhole.com.
All right.
So you can reach out to us on social media. We're very active, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. We're out there, LinkedIn. But if you have any questions, fire away. I'll be as forthcoming as I possibly can be.
Hey, I got a question for you, Brian. This is a
Sure.
question that we get a lot. Have you done any licensing deals with the NFL, and how does that work from a professional sports association licensing the right to display their brands on your boards?
Oh, you're getting into the good stuff here.
The
All right.
expenses.
Yes, the expensive stuff. Yeah, it is true. So licensing with college and with the NFL. So we've done both. And so we started with NCAA, and there are 3 major licensing clearinghouses that are out there. So you've got Learfield, you've got Collegiate Licensing Company, and I can't remember the third one, but you go to each one of them, you apply, you have to submit your revenue, you have to submit your business plan to them, and they look you up, and they grant you licenses for the schools that you want. And so we started with CLC, and we were able to get Michigan State. We were able to get some of the Big Ten schools and a couple of the SEC schools. And then we went to Learfield, where you got most of your MAC schools that were in there. We got a couple other big ACC schools as well. But it's between $25 all the way up to $500 per school, just in an upfront licensing fee, and then it's a royalty, and each school has its own royalty after that. One of the clearinghouses that we utilized had access to the NFL. So what we did is we would submit a design to them, make sure that the design was approved by the NFL to carry that logo, and then it was manufactured from that company under their licensing. So the royalty was paid, and that company they had all of our CNC breakdowns, so they would be able to send it to us, and it was officially licensed, everything else. So we have a similar agreement like that today. So some of the beer companies that we do, if we don't go directly to the beer company, then we can license it through some of these clearinghouses that are out there. But the NFL is a little bit different. So we did petition the NFL for NFL licensing. The cost at the time was completely cost prohibitive for us. There was no chance, right?
You're going to lose money, or it was going to be a break even kind of thing, or
I believe at the time the NFL wanted an upfront royalty of $500,000 right up front. And so there's no, with the amount of cornhole boards that we were doing and our pricing model, there's no way we were going to be able to recoup that in 1 year. I think it'd be a stretch for us to do that now. And to be honest with you, I think the custom market is a lot more active than the market for NFL and for NFL teams. But we even petitioned Marvel, and this is as Marvel was going through, kind of their phase 1. We asked them, hey, can we produce, some of the Marvel characters, and Marvel was at the time it was awesome because you had 4 options with Marvel, and so they had tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and tier 1 was more of your lesser known superheroes and villains, and tier 4 was your Spider-Man, your everybody else that they knew. But to get tier 4, it was $200,000 plus I think it was a 20% royalty on top of it, and that in itself was cost prohibitive. So that's I think if it was less than that, if we were looking at a $50,000 upfront cost and maybe like a 5% royalty or 10%, I think that's something we would have pulled the trigger on. But again, we found a clearinghouse, and similar to what we found with the NCAA and the NFL, where we could process the tops through them because they were already licensed to do it, and then they would send the tops to us, and we would attach them to the boards, and off to the races we would go. But is it something that we could do in the future? Absolutely. It's got to make financial sense for us. Right. It's just, that's what it is. And, you go on to some of the the websites where they've got the NFL, the officially licensed NFL boards, and the quality is diminished tremendously because they're within a certain price point, right? No one's going to buy a $600 set of cornhole boards just because it's got Chicago Bears logo on it. So we've got our price range, and we either have to sacrifice quality to make the profits back so we can actually pay for the license, which we're not going to do that. And unfortunately, you see that from some of our competitors where it's just you look at the board and you're like, how does anybody want to buy or play on that thing when you could have something over here that's way better and you probably cost less than what you did.
Right.
Yep. Awesome. Brian, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. So much golden nuggets in there. I'd love to have you back on the show, give an update here in a few months or a year. So if you're open to doing that, Chris, thanks for being with us too.
I'm always you. Yeah.
And as always, Matt, any parting words here, Brian, things you'd offer up to a budding entrepreneur, maybe where you were in 2012, words of encouragement, words of advice, last mentor guidance.
I would say that if you've got an idea, write it down and honestly do what I didn't do and talk to an attorney about it and protect your idea, and it'll save you a whole bunch of headaches going forward. So, JD, it's a plug for you guys, but you guys did such a great job with mine. And even this last one, I think I came to you guys with the new idea. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was October or November of last year.
The pro.
Dude, you banged it out by January 1. And we got everything filed by like the first or second week of January. So it was quick. It was easy. I mean, it was painless on my end. It was completely worth it. And again, I totally appreciate everything you guys have done because you've helped protect me and my family from people trying to take our idea. So those are my parting words. But just if you got an idea, just put it to work. Take a chance. Go out there and make it. Go out there and do it. See how it goes. Don't let that inner voice inside of you say you can't do this or you won't be successful. Just try it. You got nothing to lose. We got one shot at this thing called life, and might as well shoot your shot while you can. Right?
Love
that. This guy's a bold inventor.
Love that, man. You're the perfect bold inventor. For all of us here at Bold, wishing you an awesome day, and do as Brian said, go big, go bold.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care, everybody.